"Excuse me, miss, but you're in the wrong place." Lisa Carter barely had time to process the sharp, condescending tone before the woman in the stiff gray blazer gave her a once-over, eyes filled with instant disdain. Lisa had walked into Westbridge Industries with her heart pounding, nervous but excited. It was her first day. At least, that's what the employees believed. In reality, she wasn't just a new hire. She was the company's newly appointed CEO, going undercover as a low-level assistant to observe the workplace firsthand. But the moment she stepped into the main office, she encountered her first problem, Deborah Sullivan, the department manager. Lisa's carefully selected outfit, simple slacks, a blouse, and minimal makeup, had been a deliberate choice. She wanted to blend in, to be treated like any other employee. But the way Deborah's eyes narrowed told her everything. The woman saw her as less. "I was told to report to this department," Lisa responded carefully, keeping her voice neutral. Deborah scoffed. "And who exactly hired you?" Lisa held back a smirk. "You did." But instead of revealing the truth, she simply handed over a copy of her employment letter. Deborah barely glanced at it before tossing it back. Figures, HR keeps hiring just anyone these days. She turned to a passing employee and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Bet she's some diversity hire." Guess they needed to fill their quota. A cold fury ignited in Lisa's chest. She had seen workplace discrimination before, but hearing it on her first day? She had planned to spend a few weeks undercover, gathering insight before making any changes. But now, she wasn't sure if she could wait that long. Lisa took a deep breath, forcing herself to remain calm. She knew she had to be strategic. If she reacted too soon, she might tip Deborah off before she could fully expose the toxicity running through the department. As the day progressed, Lisa observed more of Deborah's behavior. It wasn't just her. Several employees mirrored her attitude, particularly toward employees of color. She saw how an older black man named Charles was given the worst assignments, while younger white employees were assigned easier, more prestigious tasks. A Latina receptionist, Maria, was constantly interrupted and spoken over in meetings. And Lisa? She was given nothing but menial tasks. "You can start by organizing the supply closet," Deborah had told her, barely disguising her smirk. Lisa gritted her teeth. This woman had no idea who she was messing with. Later that afternoon, she found herself in the break room when Charles walked in. He hesitated before nodding politely at her. "How's your first day going?" he asked. Lisa sighed. "Interesting, to say the least." Charles gave her a knowing look. "Let me guess, Deborah's already put you in your place?" Lisa raised an eyebrow. "She seems strong-willed." Charles chuckled humorlessly. "That's one way to put it. She's been here for years. Upper management never does anything about her. They don't care." He stirred his coffee absent-mindedly. "But I guess when you don't look like the people she favors, you get used to it." Lisa's heart ached at the resignation in his voice. "Not for long, Charles. Not for long." She was going to make sure of that. The next day, Lisa arrived early. She wanted to see how the department functioned before Deborah knew she was there. What she saw only solidified her decision. At 8:55 a.m., Charles arrived exactly on time. Yet Deborah loudly berated him for being late. Meanwhile, when a younger white employee strolled in at 9:15, Deborah simply waved it off with a "just try to be on time tomorrow." Then during the morning meeting, Deborah publicly humiliated Maria cutting her off mid-sentence. "Sweetheart, let the men handle the important stuff." Lisa clenched her fists. Enough was enough. She had planned to stay undercover for a few weeks, but that was no longer necessary. It was time for the big reveal. Lisa walked into Deborah's office, closing the door behind her. Deborah barely glanced up. "You need something?" Lisa took a seat, folding her hands on the desk. "Actually, yes. I'd like to discuss some concerns I have about this department." Deborah scoffed. "You've been here a day and think you know anything." Lisa smiled. "Oh, I know plenty. I've seen how you treat people, and I've seen enough to make my decision." Deborah rolled her eyes. "Decision? What decision?" Lisa leaned forward. "I'm Lisa Carter, the new CEO of Westbridge Industries." The color drained from Deborah's face. What? "I came undercover to observe the culture of this company," Lisa continued, "and I've seen exactly what I needed to see." Deborah stammered. I didn't mean—" "Oh, you meant every word." Lisa stood up. "And now I mean every word when I say, you're fired." Deborah gasped. "You can't do that." Lisa crossed her arms. "I think you'll find that I can. Security will escort you out." As if on cue, 2 security guards appeared at the door. Deborah's face twisted in rage. "This is unfair. You set me up." Lisa didn't bother responding. Instead, she opened the office door to reveal the entire department, watching in stunned silence. She turned to Charles and Maria, giving them a reassuring nod. Change had finally come. As the security guards escorted Deborah out, the office was silent. Employees whispered amongst themselves, their expressions a mix of shock and relief. Some exchanged nervous glances, wondering if Lisa would turn her attention to them next. Others, like Charles and Maria, seemed cautiously hopeful. Lisa walked to the center of the floor, commanding attention without saying a word. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm but firm. "For too long, this department has operated under toxic leadership. That ends today. I came here undercover because I wanted to see firsthand what was happening. Now that I have, I promise you this: things will change." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Lisa turned her gaze toward Charles. "You've been here how long?" Charles hesitated, then cleared his throat. 23 years, ma'am." Lisa's eyes darkened. "And yet, you're treated like a rookie, while others who have barely been here 2 years get more respect." Charles gave a small, tired smile. "That's just the way it is." "Not anymore." Lisa turned to Maria. "And you. Every time you speak in a meeting, you're interrupted, ignored, or dismissed. Tell me, do you think your voice is valued here?" Maria's eyes widened, then dropped to the floor. "No, ma'am." Lisa nodded. "That changes today, too." The younger employees, who had aligned with Deborah, shifted uncomfortably. A man named Greg, who had been one of Deborah's favorites, finally spoke up. "So, what now? You gonna fire all of us?" Lisa studied him. "That depends. If you were complicit in Deborah's behavior, you have 2 choices. You either correct your actions and prove you belong here, or you can leave." Greg swallowed hard and nodded. Lisa exhaled. From this moment forward, this department is under new leadership. Promotions will be based on merit, not favoritism. Everyone will have a voice. And if I catch even a whiff of discrimination, you'll be following Deborah out that door. Silence. Then slowly, Charles began to clap. Maria followed. Within seconds, most of the employees were applauding, the tension in the room shifting from fear to relief. Lisa smiled, Step 1 was complete. Lisa spent the next week restructuring the department. Charles was promoted to a senior leadership position, finally getting the respect he deserved. Maria was given more responsibility, ensuring her ideas and insights were heard. A new hiring and training initiative was put in place to prevent the toxic culture from creeping back. Of course, not everyone was happy. Some of Deborah's former allies quit, unwilling to adapt to the new system. Lisa had no issue letting them go. Westbridge Industries had no place for people like them. One afternoon, as Lisa was reviewing reports in her new office, Charles knocked on the door. "Got a minute?" Lisa looked up, smiling. "Of course, Charles. Come in." He hesitated, then stepped inside, rubbing the back of his neck. "I just wanted to say, I never thought I'd see this place change. I was ready to retire, just to escape it. But now I actually look forward to coming to work." Lisa's heart swelled. "That means a lot, Charles. And I meant what I said. This company is changing for the better." Charles nodded, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you. Really." Lisa stood and extended her hand. "No, Charles. Thank you for sticking it out all these years. Now, let's build something worth staying for." As they shook hands, Lisa knew. This was just the beginning. Lisa had gone undercover to root out one toxic manager, but what she found was a deep-seated culture of discrimination that had been ignored for years. By taking action, she didn't just fire a bad manager, she changed the entire trajectory of the company. Her story serves as a reminder. A single person can make a difference, but real change requires action.